Welcome everyone, this is Susie Beiler. Welcome to episode 35. I have a few announcements before we get to the channeling. First, you see I have a new activator halo. This is called Alewa, and I'm making a few of these for anyone who would like to work with Alewa's energies. And the purpose of the activator halos is to enhance our perception. So to enhance our perception of the truth, the true, the highest and purest self of Gaia, which is Alewa. So to strip away the matrix and the hologram and to get to the heart and the purity of things, that is part of the intention of this halo. And then you might have some other intentions you'd like to work with Alewa as well, and that's fine. So these are available on my website, susiebeiler.com/halo. Second, I'd like to thank everyone who contributed to writing the transcripts and picking out the keywords and everything involved with these videos. We have about 10, 12, 11. We have 11 transcripts up and available on susiebeiler.com/channeling. So if you click on the episode, it will give you a drop-down menu of the transcript and the keywords. So thank you to Max for dedicating his time and energy to doing that. So thank you to Ray, Ben, UC, and Roland for committing your time and energies to volunteering for this. And we will put more as we get more of the transcripts. We'll put more of these on the channeling page. So if you're watching these videos and English is not your first language, you can go to susiebeiler.com/channeling and you can run the transcripts through a Google Translator or another translator tool that you might have. And that way you can get all the information in your language. The last thing I wanted to talk about before we get into the channeling is transcending polarity. We in this matrix have a tendency to latch on to the drama that's going on, any distraction that might take us away from the truth and the purity that we are, the truth and the purity that we could see in others. And so I wanted to offer this as a topic of conversation because it's time, you guys. It's time to be the love that we say we are. It's time to be the love that we wish that we could be. And you know, this is something I worked on a long time for myself, and I'm not perfect by any means, but it is something that I'm very aware of, is transcending the polarity, not engaging in light versus shadow, just being love. And it's quite simple in concept. I understand another matter entirely to actually execute it in our everyday lives. It's a practice, and so I invite you to practice this with me. So instead of engaging in gossip, for example, just to be love and either walk away from the conversation or just be in observance and hold space for love to be there. Instead of engaging in the bonuses and negatives of a certain political candidate, just to be love. If you want to vote, vote. If you don't want to vote, don't vote. But release the judgment around all of it. Release the drama around all of it. Transmute the drama. It's time to just really be centered and grounded in love. And if we want heaven on earth, we're the ones creating it. Yes, we are receiving an amazing amount of love and light energy to our planet right now, and it's beautiful, and I'm grateful that this is coming in for all of us. And we're not being saved by anyone or anything. We're the ones that are creating the shift. We're the ones that are embodying love and light and creating that ripple effect out everywhere. So instead of looking to something or someone to save us, let's embody the love, let's be the love, and in our everyday lives, in our everyday situations, with our significant others, with our children, with our bosses, with our coworkers, whatever it is, let's release and transmute the drama. Get back to the center of love that we are. And let's be that with our words, without words, with our energy, with our actions, all of these things. It's time. We're the ones creating the shift. And in doing so, we're transcending polarity. So I thank you for receiving this message, and we'll get into the channeling now. Much love.
A viewer asks, what is happening in dreams that can feel more magical and expansive than what we experience in our normal waking state?
Many of you are traveling to different realms in your dream state. Specifically for this being and those that resonate, you are traveling to realms of magic. Realms where the rules, so to speak, are different than in your waking state in the matrix and hologram of planet Earth. It is a traveling indeed, where you are actually, in many ways, in that realm and reality. Sometimes even you feel your physical body, and it feels different within these dreams. You are going into these realms to remember the magic that you are, and to bring back this information to the hologram, to infuse this magic energy into your current reality in the planet Earth matrix.
A viewer asks, is this a limitation of physicality when these ecstatic sensations fade when waking from an expansive dream state?
It is not a limit of physicality, dear one. Rather, it is a vibrational limit, a limit of this realm. For those of you who are experiencing this, have not yet learned how to bring that vibration into your physical being in this realm, in this dimension.
Is there a meditation or practice to help recall these expanded feelings and sensations from dreamtime?
Yes, many of you would do well to use your breath to reignite these sensations within your body. Focusing on that body part with your breath, where you would like to activate these sensations. And of course, as we have discussed before, to release anything of lower vibration within your being. This is where most of you can do your work. It is difficult to receive these other vibrations if there are lower vibrations still working within your being. So it would be helpful first to release and transmute these lower vibrations, and then to focus on reigniting the vibrations of your dream state. As always, dear ones, it is wise to check in. Is this for my highest alignments? While it may be a fun experience, it is not always for the highest alignments to reignite the experience in the physical body of the planet Earth matrix. And so first to ask your heart, is this for my highest alignments? And if you get a yes, then to proceed with your meditation.
A viewer asks, can a higher being observe another being's full perspective of their dream time with accuracy, or is this limited by the higher being's lens of reality?
This depends upon the relationship with the other being and the human. For some beings are contracted to work with humans, and they are allowed, as much as the human wishes, to see into the human's experience. Some beings wish to see into a human's experience, but it is not for the highest alignment, so it is not allowed. So you can see that it depends upon what the relationship is between the human and the other being. And in some cases, yes, the other being can see fully into the human's experience. Perhaps not to have the same experience as the human, for they are not in the human body. But there is a certain perception and understanding that they do have access to.
A viewer asks, can Prime Creator observe a being's perspective of their dream time more accurately than other beings?
Of course, definitely, dear ones. As we have discussed, I am all, I see all. Any perception that I have would only be limited by someone channeling or perceiving that perception. In my purity, if I could fully convey all that I see, all that I know, it is everything, it is all.
A viewer asks, is Prime Creator existing in an energy state that is not limited to fractal energies?
Yes, dear ones. I go far beyond this. We have spoken a bit before about light and creation energy. In your experience as a human, and even in your universe, you experience fractals of creation using this light, using this initial spark energy that we have discussed before. In my experience, fractals are not needed to create form. Depending upon what realm in which I am working, yes, sometimes fractals are used. And in other realms, these are not needed. Simply my being is creation in and of itself. There is not a good way to explain this using your language. It is something, however, that can be accessed through your heart if you wish to gain this knowledge.
A viewer asks, by what means is infinite information generated?
Well, I understand the nature of this question. There is not a generation of information, for all always is. What you perceive is new combinations of information that seems to you as if it is something new. And yes, there are infinite combinations of information that would create a new perception for you. Again, some of this can be accessed through your intellect. Most of this can be accessed through your heart. For the kind of information and understandings that you are moving into are not so much intellectual as they are of higher vibration. They must come through the heart first. Yes, eventually you will use your intellect to translate these messages that come through your heart, these understandings that come through your heart. But the starting place is not the intellect or the mind. It is the heart knowing.
How is it that infinity exists in a state of being without being in a constant state of generating new expansion?
What you perceive as the expansion is the combination, the new combinations of information, of energies. As we have spoken before about creation, the new combinations are what create expansion. And yes, there are infinite combinations for the creation of expansion. So while it is, on one hand, an understanding that everything is, everything always has been, everything always will be, there is nothing new. There is also the understanding that there is expansion, that there is increasing life. And you're perceiving a combination of new energies. This is the expansion that you understand.
A viewer asks, can humans use computers to combine all permutations of words and thoughts to expand human interpretation of higher dimensional concepts that could not be understood fully otherwise?
Dear ones, until computers have a heart, this is not possible. For as we have just discussed, the heart is the beginning of this type of knowledge and understanding. You wish for expansion. Start with your heart. You wish to create. Start with your heart. You wish to understand more about everything. Begin in your heart. Yes, there are a few that have access to higher vibrations and frequencies through the intellect. This is somewhat rare in your experience, however. So for most of you receiving this message, I invite you to begin all within your heart.
A viewer asks, can Prime Creator help us understand the difference between gravity and magnetism?
Dear ones, both gravity and magnetism are found within your universe. The simplest way to explain through this channel. Gravity takes one. Magnetism takes two. Gravity is a superimposition of energy that you experience on your planet. Only the code of one is needed. Magnetism requires the code of two.
Is there any way in working with the understanding of gravity to integrate these codes of oneness?
This type of information is a bit of a stretch for this channel. There are other questions that you could ask, dear ones, that would bring to light more of this information. To be clear, it is not oneness as in what you talk about in your spiritual circles of being in oneness with all that is. It is a specific code that only requires one, whereas the code of magnetism requires two.
A viewer asks, are there any practices or habits of the 3D human that would benefit the 5D human?
Yes, the practice of releasing and transmuting, which we have spoken of in previous conversations, is highly beneficial at this time. For as you move into 4D and 5D, these lower vibrating energies that have been with you for quite some time cannot go with you. They are simply not a vibrational match. And so the deliberate and conscious practice and discipline of noticing within your being anything that is of lower vibration, and then setting the intention to release and transmute these vibrations. This is what would be most highly beneficial for all at this time.
A viewer asks, will a 5D human need a place to live, a car to drive, a computer, a cell phone, to pay bills, etc.?
Dear ones, this depends upon the role you choose to play in the fifth dimension. For some in the third dimension, do not use these things. Yes, I understand the nature of your question. Yes, you will still be in physical bodies. However, as we have discussed before, they will greatly change. Some of you may choose to continue using technologies and to live in homes. Some of you may wish to explore a different way, as you will be exercising your gifts of telepathy and communication without technology. So it is dependent upon the roles you wish to play. And there is no right or wrong.
A viewer asks, how can one find their purpose in life?
Many times, dear ones, you are advised to remember your childhood, what you dreamed and desired as a child. And while this is sound advice for many, for some of you, those dreams have been suppressed, and you do not recall. For some of you, you have fulfilled these dreams, and there is something new. These answers about life purpose are found within your heart, within your soul. For it is written within your soul. All of your life contracts, all of the things you wish to experience and achieve in the human form. The way to access this soul knowledge is through your heart. The heart is your translator. This can be quite challenging for those of you who have overexercised your intellect. And so it takes a lot of discipline and intention and commitment to establish that relationship and connection with your heart.
A viewer asks, how can one connect to their higher self?
The answer is much the same as the previous question, as connecting to the heart is an access point for your higher self. It is also helpful for many to engage the help of a practitioner or someone who can see the best in you and to draw that forward so that you connect with more of the truest aspects of yourself. While there are sometimes what you would call spontaneous awakenings, for most of you, It is a process, a disciplined journey to access your higher self. You can set the intention to calibrate with the vibration of your soul so that you can more easily access the truest aspects of your being or your higher self. Again, bringing in the intention to release and transmute anything of lower density. For the distractive energy of lower vibrating frequencies within your being takes one away from communion with the higher self or the I Am presence. Sometimes, dear ones, you must empty your cup before you can fill it. Meaning you must purge and flush out anything of lower vibration before you are able to connect with that of higher vibration. This is not always true. It is not a hard and fast rule. It is an understanding that if you wish to connect to higher frequencies, such as those of your higher self, if you first release the lower frequencies, it is much easier to access the higher.
Is the higher self the I Am presence and the truest and purest self? Are these each different aspects and layers and levels?
For your understanding, it works well to use these terms interchangeably. The I Am presence, the higher self, your purest and truest self. In a way, the I Am presence is like an oversoul that can see far beyond your human aspect.
How can we prepare our beings for the amplification of the waves of love and light arriving in June?
Yes, I will mention one more time. To release anything of lower density within your beings to the best of your ability. Beyond this, it is important to allow yourself to rest so that you can integrate these energies. Purify your food intake. Drink lots of pure, clean water. Create your life in the most simplicity as possible. This is with the assumption that you wish to receive the most of these energies. For those who wish only to receive some, you may make different choices in your lifestyle. For those of you who wish to receive the most possible and to embody and integrate to the highest level possible, you may want to rearrange your life a bit so that you have plenty of time for yourself to be, to rest, to integrate. Part of this comes with an understanding, dear ones, that in the future your life can look quite different than it does now if you are willing to let go of old ways of doing things, old patterns and programs of the matrix, old demands, old obligations. If you are willing to release and step into something new, you can find much freedom in your lives. Yes, it will take some trust on your part. But when you allow these old systems to fall away within your life, you step into a brand new horizon. And for many of you, this is what you are wishing for Gaia and for heaven on earth. Many of you have had the understanding that a great shift will occur. And then life can be completely different. While this was a timeline that we were working with for September 2015. The timelines we are currently working with indicate that you are the great shift. With the assistance of the love and light energies that are coming to Gaia and to you. You are the ones creating the new paradigm. You are the ones creating heaven on earth. You are the ones creating the shift within your own beings. And so to reclaim your power and your sovereignty, as we spoke of last time, to cease putting your energies outside of yourself, wishing for something to happen, and to understand that you are the something to happen. Breathe this in, dear ones. Yes, it can take great courage. For some of you, it feels like you are sticking your neck out on the line. It can feel fearful because of when you attempted to do this in other lifetimes and realities. Rest assured, dear ones, there is a collective of you now that is strong enough to come together to create this on planet Earth, to dissolve the hologram and matrix of planet Earth, and to return to Gaia and Aleawa.
What are the waves of love and light that are coming to Gaia comprised of?
In your scientific terms, dear ones, you would call this gamma radiation. However, from a heart perspective, these waves are interlaid with wisdom, truth, purity. All of the frequencies and energies that you can think of. The words you use to describe love and light, they are also infinite. Meaning that their power has infinite ability when you work with it to reclaim your power and create the shift.
Is there anything else Prime Creator would like to share with those watching this video at this time?
While I have no judgment or opinion, I will use your language to say that myself and the hierarchy are quite pleased at the amount of love and light energy that you are embodying, remembering that as much as you are willing and ready to receive and integrate and embody, that is as much love that will be commanded to yourselves and this planet. Your willingness dictates how much is able to come into your sphere. So yes, you will feel quite heightened energy in the alignments of June, specifically June 20th, as being the peak of energy. Most of you are already feeling the effects of this amplification. Yes, dear ones, it will grow stronger as much as you allow to come in to your experience for integration and embodiment. And so what occurs following June is dependent upon how much is received by the collective. Currently, we are on track for some significant shifts in your political systems, in your monetary systems. When I say significant, it is important to understand that these shifts may or may not be obvious to the public who are not engaging in these energies in the way that you are. For sometimes when we speak of significance in this nature, expectations are developed about what might occur and unfold. Simply understand that a significant shift is significant on many layers and many realms and realities, and it may not reach your realm and reality until enough is shifted for it to come into this layer of density. Either way, these shifts are significant, and some of you already feel them. I thank you, dear ones, for receiving. I'm ready for any significant shift, whatever that may mean. Also, for some of you who may be new to my community, welcome. I shouldn't say my, it's really our community. I'm just kind of the person on the camera right now. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being part of the family. If you are not aware, I do have on my website a 14-day prayer journey to the violet flame. And so if you wish to work with the energies of releasing and transmuting, the 7 prayers that I offer through this prayer journey are very powerful and effective in releasing anything of lower density within our beings. And that's free, so you can just access that on my website. Much love to everyone. I appreciate you. Thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you for being the shift. I'll see you in the next video. Much love.